everybody, welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, and today is Tuesday, so my buddy Satoshi Sean is joining us. Actually, we're streaming on both of our channels. I just remembered, so make sure that you go to both of our channels and give us a like. Make sure you're subscribed and talk to all the amazing folks, get to know the communities in both channels. We're going to be playing around, and Sean gives away some awesome crypto and some metals occasionally. And I do some other fun stuff on my channel as well. So get to know both of us and get to know our communities. We'll see you guys right after this. Hi, everybody. I am Litecoin Lisa. You guys also know me as Lisa Mighty Davis, and that name came from my amazing daughter, Mighty Mia. We have a family foundation, and we honor her life every year. And this year, we are going to be having an event, the Team Mighty Freedom event, Freedom Celebration, and we are honoring a champion and a warrior this year. And Big Square and the Road to Ruta crew are our champions. And my dad, my pops, is our warrior this year. We're asking you to come join us in Oklahoma City. You can get your tickets if you go to teammighty22.eventbrite.com, and you'll learn more there. So you guys join us in Oklahoma City. Come to my hometown and hear about freedom and the inspiring story of Mighty Mia. We'd love to see you there. Hi, Sean. Happy Tuesday.
Hello.
How are you doing?
See all of you out there.
I'm good to see all y'all. I'm grabbing the Team Mighty Celebration Telegram link for Silver Gem. She bought a ticket to come to the event, and we are putting together a chat in Telegram because there's all kinds of stuff to do around the river sport. Where is it that I changed that, or how do I share it?
Also want to tell everybody that 21 people watching. Lots of people are jumping on. Jump back and forth from my channel, Lisa's channel. Make sure you hit the like button on both. Really helps us out with YouTube limiting the exposure of freedom, crypto, and truth podcasts and other videos. So we really appreciate it.
The more truth we can get out there, the better, the faster we wake everybody up. Okay, I put the Telegram link in the chat, and then I'll put it on the description as well. So you guys can join that Telegram group and hopefully get everybody to the event. And Big Square is going to be there August 5th, where he's doing his Road to Ruta event. We've been looking for a space and had to keep going to a larger and larger event space, which means you need to get your tickets for the Team Mighty event on Saturday night as well, because those are going to fill up. And we are going to have a few people performing as well as Big Square. We've got Greg from Rivet that's on the World Blockchain Roundtable with Sean and I on Thursday mornings. He's coming and he'll be singing. And we've got a local girl, Teresa, that's in my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu group. She's going to be performing as well.
Ask Greg what his stage name was back when he had his band.
Yeah.
And what his band name. It's pretty good. It's good. It's good.
Oh, awesome. So Greg has an alter ego.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah. Well, I know he was like, we were talking, and he was really into like, I want to say poetry, but I don't know if that's the correct. That's what I went away with.
Him and Rotes are both in. Yeah, it's weird the expertise they have in like everything.
And very things that I didn't expect. Which I guess, being a lawyer, you probably love words or language. That would make sense. The law is language.
Like they'll be like talking
And then
about biology.
coding, that would make
And
sense.
they'll be like, yeah, like gene splicing. This, it's like, yeah, that was a hobby of mine too. Yeah, me too. It's these. They're so smart.
They're
But
crazy
what's
smart.
cool is they don't talk like down. Like they think everyone is the same. They'll talk to
Yeah.
me like, hey man, you remember when we used to write AI back when we were kids, and we used that one, bot or whatever. I'm like, no.
And then they're so kind and they're like, Lisa, I really appreciated your comments last week. And I was like,
It's a thing. You're like, I don't know if I have anything to put input. Like you do,
I
you
know,
do.
they're really
They're
sweet,
they're nice. They're really good people. Really
good
good.
humans. Yes.
Yeah,
And
Mark.
that's
Saw you.
tomorrow morning. I go over to Den every Wednesday morning. Every Wednesday morning I can. I occasionally miss on the weeks that I have canon because of school and stuff, but I missed this last week. But I really enjoy Wednesday mornings on Den Social, Coffee with Dave.
He's been
And
asking me to go on there.
oh, you need to go. Yeah.
I go to sleep at like 9 in the morning.
I know you're up
I'm
all
up
night.
all
You're
night.
a night owl. Yeah.
I don't want to be though. I try not to be, but then I just lay there. Brooklyn Larry is here. Brooklyn Larry, and it's so good to see you, Larry. I want you to know I watch all your videos and I hit the like button, but I usually do it on my TV, which I cannot comment. But I love you, man, and I've been thinking about you a lot lately, and I
Thanks for
would like us
joining
to
us.
meet up sometime. Brooklyn Larry is a really cool guy.
Cool.
Check out his
Go check
channel.
out his channel.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I've known him a long time.
Good to know. Well, Satoshi Shawn, the guy who, what is it, everyone's friend? Isn't that how they introduce you on World Blockchain Roundtable?
I was just on Meta Money today
Yeah.
with Jay
Jay
Chains.
Chains. I was watching him yesterday and I shared his interview with, I'm not sure who those guys were that he was on, but he shared it. And so I jumped on and asked some questions and did my hashtag proof of pants thing that I kind of created one day with, it was me and Rice and Blood. And were you on there when we did proof of pants or Jean-Claude? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
And we made a joke and I was like, hashtag proof of pants. Anyway, so Jay Chains jumped up and showed he had proof of pants on.
But that introduction is my favorite. I like. I'm like the most proud of that one. Everyone's friend. That's like
I love it.
that is the coolest thing. I really, really do.
It is. It's very true. It's very true. Yeah. Well, let's get to some truth. I really need to pick your brain. I was excited that Tuesday came so early this week because things
It
are
seems like things
already
are moving fast.
yeah.
It seems like it's Tuesday. I got family night tomorrow. Blah blah boom. It's family night tomorrow. It's Tuesday. Oh my god.
The world is going faster and faster.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah, it really, really is. Let's see. What browser is this
Thank you, Steven.
blowing up on?
Thank you, the reality. I appreciate all you guys very much. Now, JB makes I want to talk about what JB said there. You don't even have to do it.
You'll have to read it because I'm looking for something.
Hunter B in trouble. And this is a sore point with me.
He should be. The FBI's had his stuff for 2.5 years. Nothing.
That's like
my
uncle is the chief of police, and he has some stuff on me. What has come out is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched videos of the dude literally weighing his crack. Did you see the video?
Yes. Did you see the one where he has the bag over the girl's head and tied up?
Did you see the one where he's weighing,
he's eating a sandwich,
a buttload of crack? I mean, it's
yes.
a lot of crack. Yeah. And then it cuts to Joe Biden on the floor of Congress, and he's holding up a quarter, and he said, "We passed the bill. If you get caught with this much crack, as much as this little quarter, you're going to jail for 5 years. Doesn't matter what the judge says. Doesn't matter what the judge wants. You're going away for 5 years. We made that happen. You have this much crack, you're going away." That is just that's perfect. That is just the most perfect show, the hypocrisy.
It is. And that's why it's such a movie. Enjoy the movie. It's so obvious what's happening, but this is how stupid some people are that it had to be this obvious. And so to me, I'm just like, please. Wait. I have a joke. It just takes me a minute.
It's probably about poop.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's never going to be about poop with her. Yeah, I saw that one. Did you see all the Ron Burgundy ones?
No.
No, because he reads.
Remember, I didn't know who that was until you told me.
Oh yeah. Well, he reads the line. That's how they get him, because he's signing off for the news, and he's like, "F you, San Diego," and then he's like, "Oh," he didn't even know what he said, and then everyone's like, "I told you can't put anything because he'll read whatever it says in the teleprompter," and that was so. But also, you could see how slick Biden was, because he was. I mean, and I think a good portion of it is fake. I think a lot of what he does is fake, because if you ever hear him when he thinks no one can hear him, a phone call or it's a private leaked video, he is much sharper and he is very mean.
That's not him.
He is very mean. It's very. I don't know, because that dude can, and then he's reading it, it's like other women, and then but that part he's like, and then repeat and read it now, end quote. No, and then he just goes on flawless. So he can read that teleprompter perfectly. He can enunciate. He can put inflections. He is not as bad. But like I told you before, if I had done the crap that this guy had did, and my kids had done the crap that they done, and I'd covered up some of the crap that he done, I would be like, I'm just an old man who doesn't know what he's doing.
Where's my babysitter?
Yeah, but what? Who are you? Please don't put me in the jail. Don't take away my money.
That's another thing we need to talk about. Brittany's going to jail. But somebody sent me some pictures, and I'm curious which jail they're going to put it in.
I don't know about that, man.
Did I send you the pictures?
I've seen them.
Okay.
So what's the full story on that?
Is that it's not really about the marijuana. And that it's going to expose the NBA of having really just being the China's basketball league, whatever. It's like China's B team of transgender dudes or whatever.
Well, I thought that was a guy.
It is a guy,
but it's supposed to be a girl.
Yeah. So now that she's been, she got 10 months, right? Her sentence for, let's see, faces 10 years.
Yeah, she pled guilty to possession of the drug, but not to intent. She had no intent to do anything, but she just.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally packed my weed vape.
So then supposedly a recent picture of him in prison in Russia, and he has an Adam's apple and a mustache.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah, he's got a mustache. That's what I had read.
Okay. So I guess maybe they're not letting him have or her have the hormone or something.
Well, but if he's in if it's a him, and he's in Russia, then they're not gonna put him in with women because he identifies. They're gonna be like, screw off.
Right. That's my point.
Russia.
That's my point. And if
Bert the Machine says
she has been there for that long and has been without their changing drugs, then it probably has started like getting a mustache and changing back and stuff. I would think.
How sad is that?
That's very sad.
I mean, also, it's just another guy in women's sports, but to try to you have to pretend to be He could literally, I guess, still make a kid and has a wife, and that all would have to be fake behind the scenes. That's like a. It's like I'm gonna
Talk
go out
about sell your soul to the devil. Yeah. Just to be,
people will sell their soul to the devil for something.
yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah. Something really stupid.
There's so much
Very sad.
going on. I had some weird dreams too.
Oh, this was another thing. Thank you to Chappie Litecoin. He says these are not Dutch firefighters. And I was like, how do you know? And he said, because I am Dutch and I live here. And he said these license plates are possibly German.
Yeah, that's what I try to look for. Like you sent me that video that
Yeah.
the obelisk
Yes.
in
Somebody
Vatican
said
City was burning. If anything happens to the obelisk in Vatican City, if anything happens to the Washington Monument, or if anything happens to the obelisk in London, that's a big deal. That's
no.
I mean the Guidestones, that's a big deal. But I mean that like you're gonna look up and see some horsemen in the sky.
But so remember that Uncle Cliff told us, like, as we went into this, to not get too attached to stuff we were seeing, stories that were being fed to us, all this, because we were going to be in the fog of woo. And we were going to be being fed a lot of stories and images and all kinds of stuff. So just to be like, know your truth, do your research, but also have a little grace in there for a lot of bullshit coming out, because you just don't know what you're seeing sometimes. I guess I could share
Did you hear about this
video I shared with you before we got started?
The Senate said that men can get pregnant. No. Well, they didn't say that.
Oh, sorry.
The Senate
Yes,
said
I saw
that it's transphobic
Yes.
to say that. So it's literally they're trying to kill the science. They're really trying to kill science.
Mhm.
And I had an awakening about this, and I wanted to do some research, like hardcore conspiracy theory research on this, because I had this idea forming in my head about when they wanted to try to change the science. If it was about 2 years ago, because some other things had happened then. When it comes to law, when it comes to the rights of people, there's a woman here in Texas who got a ticket and for riding the carpool lane, and she said, "No, I'm pregnant." So there are two people in the car. I'm not allowed to have an abortion. It's a statement. 100%, I agree with her. She wins. Nope, can't have both ways. People can't have an abortion. It's a person. It's a kid. That's a real person. That's a real life. You go in the carpool lane. You get it. Also, that actually it gives more clout to the argument that it's a life. So go ahead and take it. You're trying to make a point, like that it's not a life by saying it is a life. Go ahead and have your fun. But then I thought she should get a ticket then because the baby wasn't seatbelted. But so they have to come out with like vagina seatbelts. But it's about science, life, who can create it, and how it's created. And then
there's some woo-woo movies about that. Remember, is it the one with Sandra Bullock? And like, you don't have sex, you go to a lab and you drop off your matter, your DNA, and they put the baby together, and then the baby.
Demolition Man?
Is it Demolition Man?
Yeah, with the 3 seashells. That's how they poop.
Yes.
Yeah. So I go to the poop humor. But no, yeah, that's yeah, they stopped with the fluid transfer. That's weird. You go watch that movie. And how like every restaurant is Taco Bell. But there's so many truths in that about the control, about the government, about surveillance, about that was like speech being curtailed. You get fined if you curse. There was hate speech, all defunding the police to where they're not allowed to do anything. There's so much in that movie that is like weird. It's like idiocracy, but for the government stuff.
Yeah. But today it doesn't seem so weird.
Taco Bell won the food wars. Yeah, that's right, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's just some very, lots of weird stuff. This was another thing I wanted to get your thoughts on. This was disturbing to me in all kinds of ways. So that is JP Morgan guy
Yeah.
with CZ Binance. What does this mean to you?
God, I'm so jaded, man. I really am. Look at the background, dude. Have you been around the world much, Lisa?
No, I have. I'm very very sheltered. I've been
Right.
like to Jamaica one time to get married the first time and didn't go anywhere. I went to Cozumel one time, and I've been to Mexico only to the same resort like 10 times. So
Okay.
that is
So,
my global travel, and then
like,
all over
when
the
you said
US.
when you
But
sent me that video and said, "Hey, this is Rome," like that's not Rome.
yeah, no,
That's
someone had
probably
told me
South
that.
America. That's probably South America.
Oh,
I started
okay.
looking at the side at the license plates because it doesn't fit. It doesn't look right. But it's all the United States. We don't get this. You don't understand this until you travel.
Yeah,
Like our history is
it's so short.
nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you go to anywhere in Europe, and it's thousands of years. I mean, it's insane.
So
The
what is
amount
this, like
of
Versailles or
so
something?
yeah, but I've been to Versailles, and it's not that great.
Okay.
I
Oh, it
grew up.
says Versailles.
Oh, I grew up right by one of the biggest palaces in Europe. It was called Little Versailles, but it's way better because, like the Nazis, it's in Germany. The Nazis went here, they stole everything. When you go tour Versailles, a lot of it's like there used to be a thing right here that was so cool. Over here, there used to be this thing.
But it's all
Whereas
been
if you go
destroyed.
to like especially German palaces, it's all there because the Nazis didn't mess with it. But having seen and having grown up in Europe, you can see the aristocracy. It's still real. It's still like people know who the count is, who the baron is, who the duke is, and I know like we know about the queen,
Hmm.
and we think oh it's just a figurehead. They're not. The aristocracy is still real. They do think that they're a better class of people, but now it's like their job to kind of they're like the original globalists, but it was just their globe, their sphere of influence. We have to treat our peasants well, and we guide them in how they evolve and grow, and it's a real mindset. And when I see like CZ and Dime, and with that background, it makes me just like I see hundreds of years ago, if they had cameras, it would have been the same picture with different people.
Oh,
And
I
then,
see what you're
and then
saying.
there's going to be a revolution, and there's going to be, and then the regular folks are going to think that they have won, and they haven't. It's all
But
still
isn't this where like crypto is going bad and
yes,
going dark and going to the banksters? And this is what it was never meant to be.
right. That's the only thing that's throughout human history. The only thing different, like you can look at this picture, like I was saying, and 300 years ago there'd have been two different dudes, and then
Hmm.
500 years, two different dudes, 1,000 years,
I see what you're
two
saying.
other dudes. The only difference is today we have crypto.
Right.
We have one of the pillars of their. We don't have armies. We're not allowed to have armies. Uh, Roger Ver, he could have an army. Just uh, people in crypto who are rich could have an army and pay for it, but they're not allowed because individuals aren't allowed to have armies. But when you see this picture, you can just interchange the dudes over time. One of the pillars is the money, and we now own that pillar. The people have taken that pillar. We don't have armies. We don't have a lot of the other pillars that prop up the power of these individuals, but we have money now. We have control over it. We can, and they're trying to take it back. They can see now that it is a real threat. It is another pillar. Even Hitler was one of his whole thing was a master race, and he made alliances with Arab countries they're completely inferior and should all be killed under his doctrine. And they still allied themselves for riches, knowing full well that if they did win, they were going to wipe them out afterwards. I still don't understand how that common sense, just the greed takes over. But this makes me just so depressed because
that's why I was really upset when I saw this morning.
I'm worried, man. It worries me because we need everyone to realize what crypto is, what crypto can do, but we need people to start standing up and using the power.
But then that to me is more of like, if take it off of the exchange, take it back in your possession.
Yeah.
Don't put it on Binance's exchange. We got to, even if it's whether it's crypto, whatever we decide to use, if we've been given a tool of digital, money to transact through crypto, let's not screw this up too,
But people don't realize something is valuable unless this is where we're messed up. This is where our heads are messed up. This is where our programming is. We don't realize something is valuable unless they tell you it is. I'm sure people that are like have a hobby, and to you it's stupid or you don't get it, it's worthless. But then they tell you, oh man, this is worth like 18 grand. And you're like, what? Yeah. All of a sudden it has value. What? And then let me show you. Here, I got a comic book. This comic book's worth $50,000. You could buy a crappy house with this, man. Like, what? Yeah. And then let me show you on this website. They show you on a website that like you could set up, but just because you see that now and you see that comic for sale for 50 grand, all of a sudden this thing has massive value. And that's where people, you said we need to take it off of the exchange, but in our heads, the exchange is what
gives it value.
And we need to be able to, like, if we had a bar of gold, I don't need an exchange to tell me. I can go to my friend and be like, hey man, I owe you, $1,000. Here's,
But really, so the crypto itself has no value. It's that we really have to clean our minds up with what does have value. And really, it's just a tool to exchange the things we have value, our work, our effort, because money originally, like when we do our classes, and whether it's me and Westwood doing a class, at an event, or doing a class online, or I'm having one here at my house or whatever, we start with what is money. And money was created, or we use money to store our labor to be used at a later time.
Yeah, so money is just it's a store of value.
It is a store of value to be used at a later time. And that's where, like when I was at Bitcoin Day and these guys were there to heckle me and whatever. And they were like, so I've got a question for you. Do you use Bitcoin is it money to you or a store of value? And I was like, it's both.
Both. Yeah.
It's both.
Money is a store of value. That's the problem.
Money is a store of
value. They want to say it's currency. And it hits people. If you look at like Venezuela, and you look at like somebody with a shopping bag full of money, full of currency, just to buy a loaf of bread or a box of like cereal, it starts to kind of set in. But that's not your money. That's that's funny money. That's a different country. But if you look at the euro, you're gonna have the same feeling. Oh, look at that purple and pink gay money. It's the same. We look at the euro the same way we look at the Venezuelan money. And it's true. Any foreign money, we don't really see the value of it until someone tells us, "Oh no, those are euros. Those are worth dollars." Right. Oh, they are. Yeah, that's worth like a $1.20. They're actually worth more than $1. Oh wow! Now it looks. But it's still in your mind, the psychology of it. You can't wrap your head around it, But that gets it. If you look at that, and you're like, that used to be worth something. I forget his name. but it was a YouTuber back in like 2016, 17, and David Hay. Anyway, he was married to a Venezuelan woman, and her family is from Venezuela, and he was talking about how her dad had a good job. He had worked 30 years, and they had saved up like $130,000 for retirement. And within like 2 months, he couldn't get the money out of the bank, and the value of his money, he had $100,000+ saved up. It went down to like $5,000. Can you imagine that? He had, and that was like when Sanders ran the first time. Venezuela was like, look, we could have a country like Venezuela. This shows you how good socialism is. To literally within a few years, people were eating the animals in the zoo because they didn't have food. So, and their money, their currency, it was worth less than the toilet paper that you would buy. If you needed like $1 to buy 4 rolls of toilet paper, a US dollar, you would have 3 times as much paper just in the money. It was literally worth less than toilet paper.
Well, I was going to save a lot of this for tomorrow for Woo Woo Wednesday, but I've been seeing tons of stuff about Wednesday and Thursday and stuff happening this week. And some people have said it's not going to happen until Friday. I've been seeing stuff about Black Friday, but then I see Black Friday ends Wednesday. I drove by Walgreens and it says new pharmacy hours as of Wednesday. They close at 1 o'clock.
My birthday's on Saturday.
That's right. Happy birthday. I hope we're not on some new lockdown by then. And somebody shared on Twitter that there's supposed to be a new crisis coming out this weekend, and that's why we'll all be back on lockdown again. So I don't know. There's something going on. We tried to we made another visit to the bank to make sure that we have everything in our own possession, and they were unable to fulfill that need. So we have another appointment tomorrow to try to fulfill that need. They were like, we can do this much today. And I was like, no, I need it before Wednesday. I think something's going to happen by Wednesday or on Wednesday. They were like, sorry. So I'm very concerned, and they know my concern.
Why do you just go in there with your keys and withdraw the money?
Because I don't have the keys.
The banker has the keys.
The banker has the keys.
Not your keys, not your money.
Literally not my keys, not my money.
Yeah.
Even at a private bank that I have a lot of respect for, they literally don't have the money.
Yeah.
They have to wait for someone. They have to put in an order.
For the bank. Yeah, I know.
And have somebody bring them the money.
And I think people are starting to wake up to that. When you tell people that, they didn't believe. My friends didn't believe me. I'm like, dude, you know that they only legally have to keep 10% of your money. So if 12%, and banks are famous for doing what they're legally supposed to do. So if 12% of all the depositors in the bank went and got their money, they probably don't have the money.
Well, and we saw what happened in China.
That's amazing.
They froze everybody's account, pissed everybody off. They went and did a run on the banks. And I was like, I was having this feeling, something I've been seeing all these promoted tweets saying on Wednesday or the 12th, 13th, 14th, somewhere, midweek, whatever. And of course, my husband's like, at this point, he's not going to hospitalize me for my promoted tweets and things I see. But too many of them have come true or been, been accurate or close to that.
Over the years, when you see that happen in China, those people doing that, people here are pussies. You're a pussy. I'm a pussy. Dude, like we're talking about at the beginning. Look at the stuff that Hunter Biden is having, and nobody. We should all right now. We should end this. Go get in our cars.
Yes.
Go meet up in DC, just stand out in front of the cap. I mean, a million.
But no one will.
Yeah. So
no one will do a thing.
We're lazy and we're also nervous. I mean, we have friends who the 3-letter agencies have went
to their home,
to their homes. Mm-hmm. So we're nervous about that. We watch our speech when we talk. Yeah. We talk in a weird code, and so to see people in China doing that,
yeah, I'm just
revolting like that. That takes balls, man. That's props to them. We had doctors that stood up and said, "Hey, this is the truth," and they could have their practice hurt. They could get threats on Twitter. They could get kicked off Twitter.
Right.
But they probably got killed over there. The doctors that stood up. Mm-hmm. So it's a whole different ballgame, and it's our fault. When that dude stood in front of that damn tank,
yeah,
that was amazing, and we should have supported them. We should have said, you know what, you guys are terrible. You're mini Hitlers. You're starting off.
What's going on with the Uyghurs?
All these these human rights violations.
Literally, like people talk about Hitler like it was this thing that happened so long ago, and it's so terrible. And why didn't somebody stop him? Why isn't anyone stopping that right now?
Why didn't we stop the Soviet Union? Well, because we just came out of World War II. We have excuses. Yeah. But with the way the world is now and how we've let China get so that we don't have an excuse. We should after Iraq, we should have backed the Kurds. We left them to get slaughtered. We have made so many bad, immoral choices just for either money. I mean, we looked at China and we looked at getting cheap crap. We probably thought forever. Or backing.
And that's what it was worth to us. How sick is that? We're getting our disposable fashion and our cheap plastic, and we're letting them steal our technology from us and recreate it cheaper. So they're stealing from probably Americans who invented it or created it and patented it. Then they're going to steal the technology, go over there, recreate it, and then sell it back to us cheaper. And we're like, I'm okay with that.
Like JDO, they're saying it used to be 10%. But yeah, I've been telling people this for years. And now, and people are starting to see it because they're trying to go get cash. And they'll post online. I have so many of my friends like, hey, man, I wanted to go buy a car. Hey, I wanted to go buy this. I wanted to pay cash for this. They didn't have the money in the bank. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like running up there like, yeah, didn't I tell you about that? Like 2 years ago, the bank's a piece of shit. And all my banker friends, which I have, for some reason, I have a lot of banker friends, and that I went to school with, and they're like, we have the money, we just have to order it, and blah, blah, blah. Dude, if you go, and they're talked about it today on Ninja and Johnny Bravo.
And then they didn't even have enough. They had like these old bills they couldn't give us. Well, I don't even know if some of these work. Somebody said that
into the bank, they can't give you 10 grand. You walk into the bank, but you can walk out with $100,000. The bank literally just printed that up because they admitted to you, we don't have 10 grand to give you.
Well, and they didn't have the ones on the bottom. Somebody said those won't go in certain machines and stuff. Can't read those because they don't have all the security. So I was like, well, what the heck good is that going to do with me?
But my point is, it's not just the central banks that are printing money. Because technically, your local branch, if you go in there, Lisa, and they can't give you 10 grand, but then I can go in right behind you and they can give me 100 grand.
On a check
or on a card.
Right.
They just made that money out of thin air.
That's a great point.
It's not there. I can literally go and spend that right away. I can go spend $12,000, go down to Home Depot. And that's from that bank, which did not have $10,000 to give you. How is that not printing money in that bank?
So with them doing all this loan forgiveness of the, and I don't know if you saw, I reposted, I was watching a couple old videos that we did with Uncle Cliff, and he stated, Johnny was like talking about the death of the dollar and how it's going to play out from them printing this inflation. And this video is like a year old or something. And it was before I lost my last channel. And I had reposted it once I got my new channel, just because it was a great interview. And so I was kind of like letting it play in the background, and I always try to listen to Cliff stuff like a couple times and pick out different nuggets of wisdom. And he started talking about it, and he's like, no, kid. And he kind of shuts Johnny down, and he's like, what's going to happen is student debt loan forgiveness. He said, when they start forgiving that or getting rid of student debt loans, that is when the dollar just implodes, goes away. He goes, because that is what the US dollar is backed with student debt.
One of
because other countries buy those bonds that are backed with student debt.
Now, it was one of the biggest money makers for the government is student debt.
Well, right now, so I'm on Twitter the other day, and it's like, start listening. They have started and are rolling out this huge student debt loan forgiveness program that is kicking off in October.
That politician that I always bring up, Sid Miller, he posted this, and it's perfect for what I think. He said, when it comes to student loan forgiveness, you don't see a lot of the people that went to trade school asking for that, because they all have good paying jobs and paid their loans back. I think one of the and I was talking to a friend of mine, so this will be a long story, but my mother was real good friends with Richard Simmons, the fitness guru guy.
That is a bizarre statement.
It's
in itself.
He gave us our dog. He raised Dalmatians. He's a very nice guy. Anyway, my mom went on the Maury Povich show a lot, and I was a financial advisor.
Your mother went on the Maury Povich show
like 20, 30 times. He's super good friends with him and Connie Chung and all that. Anyway, this is the point I'm trying to get you.
I'm sorry. I need to
always try to get me to go on the show, and I didn't want to go on the show. I was a very young conservative financial advisor.
I want to see one show with her on.
Call me at work, and they're like, "Hey, come on out. It's New York City. It's a free trip, man. We'll pay all you the stuff." I was like, "No, thank you. I just don't really want to go." And everybody wants to see your twins. Like, I'd rather not have my twins on television. I don't like people.
I don't see all four of your twins. Yeah,
I don't want people seeing them and think crazy people.
Plus, they're Hollywood. They want to have all your twins.
I said I'd rather just not have them out there. I don't think it's safe. And then I went off. I said, look, man, to be honest, I think that daytime television is contributing to the demise of America and also contributing to the demise of the world. I think you normalize sick people, you normalize crazy people, you normalize evil people to where you show them in a relatable light. And then it's not that they are these terrible things that they do or this terrible lifestyle that they have. You focus on the fact that you both like the same cereal or that you both shop at the same store. And then all of a sudden it's normalized and it's okay. And I think that you're going to collapse society. Let it out. Exact words. Exact words. Yeah, but it's a free trip to New York. Okay, I can't.
Yeah. You did not just hear what I said.
Yeah. So, and so I think that it goes back to that time. I think it was dumbing down America and normalizing just weird lifestyles. And then now here with this loan forgiveness, if you are a kid and you're like, I want to go and do this and I want to study, women's vaginas or whatever, and I'm going to be an expert, and you can't get a job because you're a guy and you're going to tell people about vaginas. There's women who know, the average woman knows more than you do, and they never went to school. So you're like, I would like to get my loan, my debt, wiped away. You're an idiot. You are an idiot who made bad decisions, and now you have no education. If you forced people to have to take responsibility,
yes,
those classes are going to dry up and blow away. because there's no future in them. But
Mhm.
if people are allowed to go and run up a debt, waste time, party in college, and then
Yeah.
get it all wiped clean, fine.
Right.
And they're idiots. They've become grown idiots who are easier to control as adults. Versus, no, you
Which
have to
is
live with
what the
it. I think
government
people are
wants.
going to be like, you know what? I'm going to go to school. I need to follow a path that's going to allow me to live the way I want to live. And that's going to enter back into it. But if you start wiping out debt, you're wiping out responsibility.
I totally agree. This is where, so Carly was on yesterday with me. We're doing our Mighty Siren Mondays, and she just got married. And so she was talking about, she just didn't want a wedding, and they're trying to save up for a home. And right now, I mean, I can't even imagine, like, when I was first getting married, getting started, thinking about having a family, like, life was so different, in the 90s. And now it's like the world's upside down and it's this crazy place. And she's also has me as a mother telling her about, the government and what's going on and all this. And so she was raised to be this independent, and she has that own thing in her. She's always been this independent, fierce, strong, smart person, even as an infant. Like, she's just like, she would just all of a sudden go walk in her room and climb up in her bed and go to bed. And I was like, where's Carly? Oh, she's had enough and she's gone to bed, But she was talking about, we started going in. I didn't know how much she wanted to share on camera. So I didn't want to, like, put her in a position where she wanted share too much with everybody publicly. But I was like, do you want to share how kind of frustrated you were? So after they got married, then she's like, changing her name. And as she went through the process, it, like, just kind of pissed her off. She's like, well, now they're wanting me to change, so I have to change my name. But when I go to fill out the paperwork, she goes, they don't even want your name. They want your maiden name. So what's the point of me even changing my name if once I have a daughter and she gets married, they don't want my name, my married name. They
Yeah.
want my maiden name. So why does it even matter?
Well,
And I was like,
I think
well, it's chain of custody and it's your property. And so we got into this whole thing
but also
about,
that's kind of breaking down the nuclear family. I don't know if you remember years ago when it became more it was really being pushed that when you get married, you get labeled with that name, like your husband owns you. Like, this is such a big
but
thing
it is.
it's such a big thing of the patriarchy and blah blah blah. And I remember talking to young girls back then who talked about, like, how terrible it was. And I was like, when I got married, it wasn't from a man's point of view. That was what I could give. Men used to care about honor and their name.
Right.
It was all wrapped up in their name. And when you got married, it was a gift you gave them. Like, I'm giving you everything that is me. Here's my name. It's yours. And all of them were like, oh, well, that's very different.
That's sweet. And
It's like,
yeah.
that's how it is.
Well, so I was explaining to her that it was more like you want your children to have that name because you are property. And at some point you didn't have really a decision. Your dad would have chosen who you were given to, but you wanted your kids to have that name, that family name, because your children would be given that it's heritage, and your children would be then given the property.
From a guy's point of view, a traditional guy.
Right.
It's like I said, everything a man was his name. All I
Right.
have is my honor.
But it's also to protect your children. Your children would be given.
There's your line.
Right. But the children would then be entitled to everything your husband had, the family had. It was a way to protect your family, the lineage, or whatever.
For the woman taking the name. If
Right.
you're not going to have kids, if whatever happens and you don't have kids, you're giving the name. It's not, you're not taking it. You're not property. I'm giving you all I can give you is my name. It's all I am. It's all I've built. It's all that, it's from my dad built this. Then my mom and them together built this name in this town, in this area.
Right.
It counted for something. and then you're like, I want you to have it. You can take my name, it's yours. And
I guess
that's
that's the sweet and loving way that they want you to see that portrayed. But it's also
that's
like, why is the government involved in your relationships? I guess that's where we were having those.
before the government was involved.
Okay, so when it used
How
to
it
be
was.
in the church, and the
Even
church
without the
wasn't so
church,
corrupt, probably.
if you were a pagan, it was still the same thing. It was that name was given to you,
Oh,
to the
okay.
what it was. That's how it's always been.
Okay.
And then it can be corrupted by governments, and which
Right.
your religion. That's what they do. Um,
Interesting. I
I don't
didn't.
know how we got on that or what we were, because we were on Richard Simmons, and then
Oh,
being stupid people, making people stupid.
yes. Going to your trip to New York.
No, and then I think that contributed to people to where we're at today, to where they normalized a lot of just insane behavior and insane
Yes.
lifestyles, and
Agreed.
then normalized it, and then now with the loan forgiveness, you're taking away the responsibility that these people have because they can't afford to pay. You went to college. There's people that didn't go to college who are making plenty of money because they work hard, they hustle, and they make good decisions. You studied something and you went in that path, not researching it. How much do male vagina experts make? Well, that takes 10 seconds to look up. Oh,
A lot.
not a big demand. Okay, well, if I do that, it's going to have to be a labor of love, and I should maybe do that later on after I've made my mark on society. Let me be a teacher or something else, But if people don't have to kind of take that medicine, if you make a bad decision and pick a career path that is not even going to allow you to pay back, why go? And that's another question. I think a university degree nowadays is just it's shit. It really, really is.
You can learn more on YouTube. In fact, a lot of university students I've heard are like actually learning things on YouTube and watching, even doctors watching a lot of
I
videos and
forget.
those kind
I
of
want to remember
things.
because reminded me of my nephew Tony. With YouTube, you asked him the one that he died, but you could ask him, "Do you know how to do this or everything?" Yeah. It's like, hey man, I got this pain. Do you know how to do gallbladder surgery? We're like, yeah. Yeah. Do you know how to replace a carburetor? And oh yeah. He would show up with tools and a smile and his phone. I'd be like, I'm just looking at YouTube. Well,
Well, how to is like the number one thing searched for on
yeah,
YouTube. And I have to tell you, like I struggled. I can't tell you how many nights I would go to sleep crying, dealing with my oldest son. We struggled through school so much. If I had known about how good, if I had known about homeschool and the way homeschool is now and what we're doing with Canon, I would have homeschooled my oldest, because public school was not for him and it was a nightmare and it was just torture. And then he was over, I don't know, a couple years ago, and he's out in the garage with Charlie, in one of the safes, going through all these guns, going, oh, this is a blah 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 blah, with a gun, this from this year and this war, and oh, this is this blah 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 blah. And I'm like, and he's popping them apart and doing this and that, and I'm like, how do you know all that? And he's like, oh, I
yeah.
learned on YouTube. I was
And
like,
that used to be, you could only learn that stuff as an apprentice or in school. And now there's
right,
so much more that's open. And
there is.
that's one of the biggest things I think that scares uh, them, is just the amount of education that you can have. We're talking about the difference in people. I remember my first set of twins, Nicholas and Robert. Robert's always different. I remember when they were little, it's like, don't go in there. Don't go over there. It's like, why? Hey, there's monsters in there. Don't go in there. And Nicholas would be like, oh, okay. Robert would literally go pick up a stick. And he would go over. It's like, where are you going? I'm going in there. I'm going to hit the monster.
Yeah,
He
they
would go
are
right
all
into the
different.
dark room. It's like, I can't find him. Where is he? And then, I would spank him. Spank Robert. He would just look at me. Like, didn't hurt. I mean, 1 year old, 2 years old. I wasn't beating him, but I hit him on his diaper. He'd be like, Didn't hurt. Like, all right, go sit down. Nicholas, like, man, you really disappointed me, Nick.
Oh, and he's
fall to the
crushed.
ground.
Yeah.
He would fall to the ground crying.
That's
Like, ah! Like,
devastated
why are
him.
you crying? He's like,
Yeah.
Dad, he's just mad because we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. The funniest thing was I was like yelling at Robert. He did something. He was always getting into everything, and he went into his room with Nick, and I could hear him outside the door. And Nicholas was like, Robert, why do you say those things to Dad? Oh my God. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, why do you talk to him that way? Why? How do you even do that? He's like, are you scared of Dad? And Nicholas is like, yes, I'm horrified. He said horrified in this weird way. So I was like, trying not to laugh. And Robert's like, why? He's not going to do anything to us. He loves us. He goes, yeah, but you don't know. You don't know if we do something wrong.
But he didn't even want to disappoint you. That hurt him, for you to be disappointed.
Robert's like, it's like, no, it's Dad.
Well, mine, I didn't realize, but like mine, we fostered and adopted, and I have two biological kiddos, but then we fostered and adopted. And so like, then some kids would just stay, a little while with us, but then Jackson, my middle son, we got him when he was 11, but then he stayed with us, and now he's 21. And Carly said that, we had a very difficult time raising him. He, snuck girls and weed in his bedroom. And, it was after we got divorced, I'm a single mom, and I got a kid with, Range Rovers, bringing over teenage girls and weed and sneaking in his bedroom. So I'm the mom that then, I'm taking a screwdriver, and then you don't have a bedroom door. And like, I'm that mom. I'm like shaking because I'm so mad. And
out. But he was cats. He loved animals.
Oh.
I would go in his room. He's gone, and there's like 9 kittens. I was like, oh God.
Oh no, not in my house. No, no stickers and no animals. No.
We have this crazy judge. I'm not kidding. He on his door and on his like name placard, it says Wild Bill. He's nuts. He is legitimately crazy. Like, you could go before him, and he's like, "Hi, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. And then the next person goes up there, same thing, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you." And he's like, "We're looking up right now to see if I can kill you." "Oh, I can't, but I'm gonna shoot you in the leg." He's nuts, right? And in Texas, if your kid skips school, the parent gets in trouble.
Oh.
So if the kid
like truancy or whatever, right? Is that
even if they have just unexcused absences?
Oh,
so like your kid could be sick, and you could, but if he's out for more than like, I don't know, I think it's like 4 days, or it's been a long time.
Okay.
Or so many days, then you have to go to get a ticket, and you go to court. And this little Mexican lady who barely spoke English, she had to be like 4.5 feet tall. She was so tiny, and her son's like big, and this dude's like yelling at her. He's in a weird tirade where he's like going off, and then he's like, "You go home right now." He goes, she's like, "He will not get up for the school." I go, I say, "Wake up," I knock on the door. You get up. Wake up and go to school. I can't. I don't know what to do. And then he looks at the guy, looks at her, and he just starts yelling at her. He's like, "What do you mean you won't wake up? You're his mother. Give her that." He goes, "Right now I'm ordering you to go home and take his door off the hinges. He won't open his door. He doesn't have a door. And I'm going to send the police by in 2 hours. And if you haven't taken the door off the hinges, you're going to be under arrest for contempt of court."
Yeah, I'm the hardcore, like, and Carly was like, "No, it means mom," because he was like, "I think she hates me, whatever." And Carly was like, "No, when mom loves you, that's because she's scared. When she gets mad, she's scared. That just means she loves you." And he's like, "Oh." He's like, "Well, I was terrified of her." So he was like scared to death when he was a teenager. Because
has bothered me with this Roe v. Wade thing.
Oh dear God.
You were foster kids.
Yeah.
Did you shoot any of them or stab them or kill them and bury them in the backyard?
No, I've
Because
never
that's what
harmed
all
a
foster parents
child.
do, from what I've seen. Now,
No, I've never harmed a child.
it's like the biggest thing, dude. Oh, my ex-wife posted stuff on that. It's like, now all these kids are going to go to foster care, where 95% of kids are murdered by
No,
the.
so 95% of children in foster care are being fostered by a family member, which is called kinship care. So that's pretty horrible for people to say things like that. There are some really awful stories and people that do awful things. I'm not saying that all foster parents are good people, but the little pittance of money that they give you for fostering doesn't cover the amount of money it takes to raise a child. And it's pretty sick for people to say things like that.
See,
So,
you know, my ex is pretty.
hey, before we jump off here, because I've got my Jim Willie interview, which we are rethinking with his Wi-Fi issues and his mouth, to be honest. I don't want to lose my channel. We're going to record it, but I'm going to post it on my Patreon tonight after we record it. So everybody will be able to watch it on Patreon tonight. And then I'm not going to have it live because we were emailing and he wants to really talk about some stuff that I can't run it through YouTube. And that's the only way to do it live. But I can record it off of YouTube. So, and then post it directly on Patreon without having it get any censorship. But what are your thoughts on this Mt. Gox? Is this like going to just tank Bitcoin in August?
I mean,
this much Bitcoin coming on the market?
Well, but what's going to happen to it? How's it going to be released? Who's it going to? Are people going to dump it? Or
does it go back to the people that it was owed to, and then they just hold on to it and they're happy they have it?
And if not, I mean, it's going to be scooped up by institutions, or they could look at it as a opportunity to kill the market as soon as that gets released, and then scoop it all back up at a even lower price. So,
I mean, it's part of the reason I thought things were dumping and going in the toilet that we sold the Audi. So I'm ready, but yeah. I just am like, is it gonna happen? There was also some other big crypto news that I saw that was a German ETF.
There's Hunter Biden. Look at that, dude. Can you imagine if Roger Clinton? That was Roger Clinton. Can you imagine if it was Trump's third nephew from twice removed?
Yeah, disgusting.
From Scotland. I mean, it would still be the biggest thing.
Did I send you this one? It says the same conference. We know the SEC was there at the presentation. This is proof the SEC knows who Satoshi is and was creating policy, making it a commodity with this knowledge. Wowzers. Did I send you this one?
No.
Let me, hold on. Well, if I do this, I might not be able to hear you. This always screws up my sound. Okay. Can you read the bottom of it, or is it?
No.
It's all
messed
up, isn't it? I'll try, but it won't. It goes in my ear, but not in. Hold on. Let me see if I can get. Like, you can't hear it, but I can hear it in my ear.
I cannot hear it.
Hold on.
I do like the wowzers, though.
Let me see if I can. Hold on.
I heard it.
But in all seriousness, I think this was the best demonstration that I could come up with is how cryptocurrency works. This is not going to be a technical explanation. Maybe the guy from SEC, Martin, right? No, you don't want to do a technical explanation of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or the blockchain. I do want to say that both of these folks are government employees, SEC and Homeland Security. So anything that I say certainly does not reflect upon them or their agencies, because I want them to keep their jobs and have wonderful careers. But
what was that about? Does that make sense to you?
No, it's a bunch of like little, just different. What is that from? What year is it?
Okay.
What conference was it? It can't be a Bitcoin conference because they weren't around at the beginning when Satoshi was around.
Okay, hold on. Let me find out what this is in. Speaking in Homeland Security. Hold on.
We looked at Bitcoin was the most prevalent at that point. We had seized quite a bit of it, millions of dollars worth under the Silk Road investigation. So one of our agents who started looking at another online marketplace through the deep web, what was called Black Market Reloaded, they were sending weapons through packages and ordering them on the dark web. And he was really, really smart, forward-leaning agent. And he goes, I want to go interview Satoshi Nakamoto. And we're like, what? He said, yeah, I want to go interview this guy. And at the time, we're like, hey, it's a figment of somebody's imagination. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not true. So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters. And we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people, and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what their reason for it was.
So who were those 3 people?
Who's the one telling that?
I guess
Rana Sood?
Rana Sood, Assistant Special Agent in charge of Homeland Security investigations.
I don't know.
Very interesting, though.
Yeah. I don't. If it was true, then they killed Satoshi and his coins are not moving. I would say. Yeah, they just called up Satoshi and was like, "Hey, let's meet." And Satoshi was dumb enough to fall for it.
Oh, I
can't see that happening.
Less than 4 months after the lawsuit was filed. She's now with Arnold and Porter. I don't know. It is a deep, dark web. Just some weird stuff going on.
Pun intended.
Yes.
Deep dark.
And this was Grayscale became an SEC reporting company close to enabling users to invest in ETFs on NASDAQ. For Litecoin, Swiss ETP was launched for Litecoin. German ETF was launched for Litecoin earlier this year. Then this was the one. New physically backed Bitcoin ETN launches in Germany. I don't really understand this. So it says it allows German investors to use standard brokerage services to trade back and forth between the asset while allowing investors the opportunity to redeem actual Bitcoin. I don't know what an ETN is, though.
If it's backed by actual Bitcoin and it's on the blockchain and you can see it, great. Super great.
But how is it backed by gold and Bitcoin? Like,
where does it say that?
It says
backed by Bitcoin.
Backed by, where did I just see it? Berkshire back and forth. Why am I seeing? Hold on. Backed by Bitcoin ETN. German investors which allow free Bitcoin redemption and low management fees. Launched physically backed exchange traded note with Deutsche Börse Extra Exchange. Very interesting. The whatever.
It seems it's bullshit. I'm sure. Okay, go back. It says that it's backed. It says it's physically backed, but that it's an ETN. So it's paper. It's a note.
Oh, is that what they mean by physically backed? They mean
It's a note.
physical Bitcoin? I'm like, what's physical Bitcoin?
Will be custodied by DigiVault in a segregated account. The company intends to build out more investor products. So it doesn't make sense. ETN, it's an electronic ETF's an electronically traded fund.
Right.
ETN is a note, which is literally just paper, but it's not usually backed by anything. It's paper. So to say that it's backed by Bitcoin, they would have to have the
paper
company
wallets or something is what they're considering that.
No, the company would have to have Bitcoin, and they say they'll have Bitcoin. So basically, it's like I go spend $100,000 on Bitcoin, and I'm like, hey, you want to invest in Bitcoin? Give me your money. I have 100,000. Give me 50,000, and then you'll own half of it.
But what's the physical part of that?
I have 100,000 Bitcoin. I'll let you give me 50,000, and then I'll give you a piece of paper that says you own half of my Bitcoin.
And you get basically like a paper wallet, a piece of paper that says.
No, you have a piece of paper that says you own half my Bitcoin.
Oh, it's not a wallet. It's just a piece of paper.
It is
like an IOU. It is a note.
Yeah, it's a derivative. It's a paper. It's a note.
It's a nothing.
I have $100,000 of Bitcoin, and you have a nice piece of paper.
Oh, that's stupid.
That's how it works.
Why would someone do that?
It's like me saying, "Hey, I got a bunch of gold. Do you want to invest in it? I got 20 pounds of gold. You want to buy 5 pounds? Here's a piece of paper. You own 5 pounds of gold. There you go. And I have the gold, and you have a piece of paper. That's how a traded note works.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
And Mark, fiat's not backed by anything. At least this is saying it's backed by Bitcoin.
Right. Fiat is backed by
fiat used to be a note,
which they are now getting ready to forgive.
That's a perfect example. Dollars used to be gold notes, then they were silver notes. They were, but before electronically traded notes, they were physically traded notes. They were PTNs, but they were all backed by money. And at a certain time, anytime you supposedly could have went to the Treasury and said, here's some of these notes. I would like some real gold. I would like some real silver. Whereas, I guess legally, you should be able to go and get your Bitcoin if you trade them the notes. But then why wouldn't you just buy Bitcoin?
Right.
Yeah.
And hold it yourself.
And I mean, if they don't even have to show it, that's the worst thing ever. Like they can literally say, hey, we have, $8 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now invest in this. They give you a paper where they only have $1 billion of Bitcoin. So unless they show the wallet address and then prove it's theirs by moving certain amounts around or something, you don't even know that they have that actual asset. Except that they're regulated, and I guess they can get in trouble for saying they do have something they don't have, blah, blah, blah. So then you're trusting the government. Just like with a bank, it's all like kind of circling back in on, like we had said in the beginning, the same system that we're trying to get away from, which is not self-sovereignty over your money or your assets.
Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't I give away a ticket to the Team Mighty event in Oklahoma City?
Super duper.
But they have to go to both of our channels.
35 people watching, so we should have 35 likes.
So go to both of our channels and post a comment and write OKC on both of ours. And if I see your names on both, then Sean's going to give me a list of everybody on his channel that writes OKC, and I'll have everybody on mine. And if they match up, then I'm going to put them in, and
Yeah.
I'll draw somebody's
And
name.
hit the like button, subscribe, please.
And next week I will tell you if somebody.
I'll look at my subscriptions while we're chatting.
Or we'll do like a ticket after, let's see, this week, next week, and how many weeks do we have till the party? We have till, we'll do this week and next week. How about that? And that gives people, we could do the next 3 weeks, actually. No, let's just do this week and next week, and that would give people some time to do travel plans. So this week's and next week's shows, if you guys put OKC in the comments on both of our channels, you'll be entered to win 2 tickets. I'll do 2 tickets. Since it's 2 weeks, we'll do 2 tickets. That way you can bring a friend to the Team Mighty event. They are $125 a piece, and it goes to charity, and that way we will take care of that. That way it helps everybody.
I got people coming in. OKC. All right. And I got another like. 1 like.
Not in the live chat. You got to put it on the channel in the comments.
Oh, in the comments afterwards. Okay.
Afterwards.
And also hit the subscribe button.
Yes, like and subscribe, and
Like,
in the
13
comments afterwards. So,
14 likes, good.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
13 makes me weird.
All right.
All right.
Guys. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Be sure to go over to Den Social tomorrow. You guys, when you see Distant in the chat here, that is Dave from Den Social. Watch his show on Wednesday mornings.
I have a show tonight on Hubby. Last one I did at 37,000 viewers.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to talk to
I'm
you.
going to do a giveaway because I kind of wanted some of those people to come off the Huobi app and Huobi channels and come over to my place and subscribe.
Cool.
So I'm going to do a giveaway of some money tonight. I'm going to do just a video. Just have to subscribe and then put a comment. And then I'll do a random comment picker. And then I'll do a second giveaway on that at the end of the week when I do the crypto lunch break.
What time is your show tonight?
9 Central.
Okay, perfect.
It'll be on, you can go to Huobi, get the Huobi app. You'll see it. Let me look, see if they put it on there. Let me see if they put it.
Huobi. And I've been talking to them. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that and which shows, because they want me to stream a couple of them a week, and I'm trying to figure out which ones to put on there.
Oops.
We should do ours together.
We could, yeah, that would be good.
Do our show together, and then we could do another one.
Did Darko reach out to you?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we did a show and together, and it was 37,000 subscribers.
That's awesome.
It was crazy. I do not see them that they didn't put it up, unless. No, it's probably just on the stinking app. I gotta yell at them.
You can't be late though. 5 minutes and you're disqualified.
Yeah, I know. And that's another thing. Their times are all weird. Because I was ready yesterday, and they were like, "What? Huh?" They're like, "What's the UTC time?" I'm like, "Oh, this and that." It was like,
I have an app I can send you that I use.
Time Buddy.
No, it's something else, but it's when we were doing all that stuff with Florian, I kept getting messed up with time in Switzerland, and so I downloaded this app, and it helps with the time.
I got Time Buddy, and that helps.
Oh, okay. So you've got
yeah,
okay.
it was what popped up in the whatchamacallit.
That's awesome. All right.
G says, like my Lisa, I believe Charlie G. That's a Charlie.
Oh, thank you, Charlie G. That's so sweet. That's awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Love y'all. It's good hanging out.
And he'll cover the 3rd week. Okay, or the third person to do that. Thanks. So you guys, after we close this up, go over to Sean's channel, go over to my channel if you're on Sean's channel, and put OKC in the comments after, not in the live chat, and like and subscribe to both. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching. Love to all, and take care. Bye.
Take care.